Welcome back. In this video, we're going to try to get the game working so that it will actually clear the layers, or the layers, I guess, that have a full set of tetraminos across it. All right, so we're going to open up our script here, and we're going to place all of these, I believe, on the game manager here. So let's just open up our script if we don't have it. And so while it's doing that, we're going to create a series of functions here that will act to check if, like I said, if the row is full, and if it is, we're going to have to delete the items, okay, delete the tetraminos, and then bring it down. All right, so I'm just going to make that bigger for you, and I'll just increase the size here. So zoom in, and I know never seems to work by doing the Control+. So there we go. All right. So actually what we're going to do is in the game manager, we're going to create, like I said, a series of functions here. We're actually going to get rid of this update. So I'm going to get rid of that whole thing. And like I said, we need to basically create a series of functions. And so the first function is going to be public, because we're going to be, and all of these will be public because basically the tetramino controller is going to be accessing all of these. And this one is a Boolean, so it's going to return a value, okay? And it's going to be a true or false value. And basically, whoops, the question that it's going to solve is it a full row at a certain point? And so we've got to pass in the y coordinate. So that will be the row. Okay, and so we will sort of question, is it full at this row? Okay, and the idea here is that we're going to run all along the row to see if it's full. So if, and so this is going to be very common here, we're going to keep using this to iterate across the row here. Okay, so if we're going to set x to 0, and we're going to keep going to int x is equal to 0. Just trying to figure out why that error is there. X, we'll just keep going here. X is less than the grid width. Okay, and I think I did that with a capital. All right, and x, sorry, plus x, just like we did before. All right, so we'll just close that up, and what we want to do here is, so I got the, oh, that's my problem here, sorry. There should be a 4, because we're doing this as a loop here. I'm just thinking about the next line. No wonder it was giving me a problem. Okay, so so in this for loop, so it's basically going to iterate across a row, okay, checking each x, and we want to check is if at that point, okay, on that grid, if it is going to be null, and that means it's going to be empty. And if it's empty, we're not going to remove it, okay? We're not going to be able to do anything else. So we'll basically return false. So if the grid, and we've got a sort of an array here, so the x and y coordinate, okay, if that is equal to null, so if it's basically empty, okay, there's an empty space there, what we're going to do is we're going to turn false. Okay, and otherwise, I think we've got, okay, just making sure here. Otherwise, we're going to return true. I think that closes up that one, so this must be here. Oh, and sorry, I messed up here as well. We need our bracket, so I was looking for an extra closing bracket here. Good, and otherwise we will return true. So if it doesn't find any that are null, so if it doesn't find any that are missing, we're going to end up returning true here. And so we've got an idea that there is a full row. So at that point, we have to start doing some work here. And we're going to, first of all, sort of delete the minos, okay, at that point. Okay, so we have to work across the row to delete them. And then, of course, we're going to have to move down the rows down, and then move all the rows down that are associated with that as well. in addition to that, yeah, we'll just keep going here. Okay, so let's do another one. So this one we don't have to return anything, so it's going to return value of void and delete the mino at, and again we're going to pass in that value for y. Okay. Now, next thing here again is very similar. You could probably just copy this above. Okay, for x is equal to 0, x is less than the grid width, and plus plus x. Okay, what's going to happen here? Well, it's basically going to destroy that location, that x, y. So destroy what? Well, the grid at the point x comma y. Okay, so in that array there, dot the game object. So we're going to destroy the game object that's associated with that point. And I believe we're missing a bracket there. Good. And then what we have to do is also set, because now it's missing, we're going to set that grid x, y value to be null. Okay, so we're basically removing it from the array there because it's no longer one that we're sort of going to be interested in because it's going to be deleted. Okay, so just make sure you close all that up nicely. Like I said, we're just doing a variety of them here. So we're going to create another one to move it down. So we're going to move the row down. And again, lots of similarities here for each of these. We're going to have to take the row that we're interested in, so that y value. And so we're going to do the same thing for int x equals 0. X is less than the grid width plus plus x. Oops. Okay, so what's going to happen this time? Well, it's a little bit trickier. If the grid of x and y, okay, so again, checking each tetramino there, okay, or each mino, I guess, not so much the tetramino, because we're actually looking at each individual one, does not equal null. Okay, so if it's not null, what's going to happen? Well, the grid of the one above, okay, so we're going to look at the one above, so that's going to be y minus 1, okay, because it's the one above. We're going to bring it down, so its new value will just be the x minus y, or sorry, x comma y. So what we've done here basically is just taken the one that's above, okay, and brought it down, okay, and now we have to set this one, okay, to null. So it'll have to be checked again, and like we said, we have to sort of move the Arduino, the Mino. So we're going to take this guy, so the same one, 1 minus 1, and we have to actually physically move it here. So, and I need my comma. Okay, and so this one, 1 minus 1 dot position. So take its position, and then we're going to have to do new vector 3. And basically, we know that each one is, so we're going to move it down on the y-axis 1 unit here. So minus 1, and I need my comma. All right, so let's just close these brackets up properly. And I think 1, 2, yep. And one more. Good. So we've got a series of functions that we've created. We're going to do one more. this one is actually going to sort of work together with the one above. So we're going to create another public void, move all rows down. Okay, so you can imagine if there's anything above, it also has to come down. So we have to somehow deal with those ones above. So this one's a little bit different. For the int I is equal to y, so we'll talk about that in a second. I is less than the grid height. Okay, so these are going to be all the ones sort of above, and we're going to do the plus plus I. So what we're going to look at here is the ones directly above the ones we have moved down. Okay, so we're going to move all those rows above down one. And so basically what we're going to do is run that same function above, but with the value for I. Okay. And so, well, I guess I'll put the bracket in. You don't have to put a bracket in if it is just one statement below an if statement or a for loop, but we'll do that there just to make it nice and clean. Good. Move row down. Oops, I forgot my capital. All right. So we got quite a bit of stuff here. I think, let me just see here. Oh, well, let's try to get one more in. And just before the time up. So public void delete row. So we're going to delete a row here. And basically this is just sort of for housekeeping. So for int y equals 0, y is less than the grid height, and plus plus y. Oops. All right. So what's going to happen here is that if, and this is going to be the checking the Boolean, is full row at, and we're putting in the y value here. Okay, so if that is full, so if that returns true, okay, then we're going to delete the Mino at what position? The y. Okay, and we're also going to move all rows down at y plus 1. So that's the value we're going to pass into there. Okay, because it's the ones above. Good. And then we decrement our y here. So we're actually going the opposite way. So I got a negative y there. Okay, and I think that's good. So I'm going to just close this stuff up here, and just about out of time. There we go. And hopefully I haven't created any problems. We'll come back and make sure in the next video that everything is okay. And basically what we'll do then is get this to be called, all these things. We'll just call the one thing that will cascade into the others from the Tetris11 controller once it's sort of placed itself. Then we want to sort of run all this to double check that to check if we can delete or not delete the row. And we'll talk a little bit more about exactly what's going on thereafter. So I'm just going to save it up. I might as well go to Unity and check. I've got a couple seconds here. Oh, there is a little bit of a problem there. I will come back in the next video and sort that out. All right, we'll see you then.